How Bizarre is intended for mature, open-minded audiences only. If you are easily offended, we suggest you turn this wacky shit straight off.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, you got a
Hi, guys.
heck of an echo on
Test?
your end, Chris. Yeah, the old test echo.
There's an echo on my end still?
That's good.
Not now.
Dialed in, all right.
You sound pretty good, actually. Okay, let me make sure we're recording. And
Backup is rolling.
yeah, my backup's rolling too, so we are good to go.
We got triple backup?
Everybody sounds pretty good.
Can I get a triple backup, Lyle?
Yeah, let's get
Do
it.
it with
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like part Lyle,
Chipmunk.
part Alvin and the Chipmunks, part Pitbull.
Part whatever the fuck we get. You just never know. That's the mystery of the triple. I had a few people comment on how much they enjoy hearing Lyle do his triple take.
It is enjoyable.
Well, this is, speaking of triple, I think this might be a triple week that we missed. So
is it really?
I think it's almost a month.
I think so.
I think it's almost a month because we didn't record until, or we haven't recorded since before Christmas. So that's fucking crazy. A lot has happened, and we're going to try to get caught up on a good chunk of the interesting stuff tonight. But I suppose we should just go right into... Chris, you sound pretty good, but you do sound a little different, so I guess we'll just explain. We weren't even going to record this week because there's so much still going on. We was like, we've missed a few, but we planned on missing a few, and we were just going to miss another
this was
week.
Shoot the shit episode, too. We're not...
Yeah, we don't really have a plan or a roadmap here, but it's even stranger than that because Christopher is, in fact, mobile. On a little handset there. Pull it away from your mouth just a bit, Chris, and we won't get so much breathing noise. But explain where you're at and what you're doing. You just kind of take it wherever you want to, because I don't know I don't know what you want to talk about here, but
I'm at the RV. I'm at the RV cleaning it out right now. I have like limited time to get this thing cleaned before, I guess cleaned out before I have a cleaning lady come to deep clean it. So I have had quite the week. I know a lot of listeners have reached out asking me how things have gone with my dad's estate and whatnot. So I figured I would just give you guys an update, and a lot of it's kind of gruesome, and I apologize. So if you're easily unsettled, this may not be the podcast episode for you, but I'm in pretty good spirits considering everything that I've been through in the last 4 days. And I even had a good chuckle with Ron about one tragic thing I will explain. You guys ready for this? Are we just going to dive right in?
Go right into it, yeah.
Okay. All right. So Friday night, I got a call from the lawyer early. I did not expect it I thought I was going to get it sometime this week. And they were like, bro, you're the guy. You're the executor of your dad's estate. We filed it in court. It's been stamped. You can take this right to the police station and get the keys to the RV. And I'm like, oh, my God, I can't believe it's finally here. I can just fucking go do this thing that has been weighing on my brain for weeks and weeks and weeks. Like, I can't even tell you guys the sleep I've lost, the meals I couldn't enjoy. Even coming wasn't quite the same sometimes. Like, I was just like not in a good place. So trying to get to this
sometimes
fucking
it felt
thing.
more like going. Yeah.
So anyway, so they call me up. I go down to the lawyer's office. I get the packet with all the paperwork. I go straight to the Gig Harbor Police Department. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking just go in and at least clean up that bed. Because I saw I don't know if I told you guys this, but I was able to look in a window and see like the bed. When I left the RV last, it was lit up like Christmas. Like every light in there was on, and that's just how the cops left it. So I go get the keys from the cops. They were like, "What do you want to do? What do you want us to do with the gun?" I'm like, "Destroy it. I don't want it. I don't need it." They're like, "Rojo," gave me the keys, gave me his wallet, had $21 in it, no ID. I'm like, cool.
We already shot a kid with it.
No kidding. So I cruise out to the RV, and it's dark now. It's this point, fucking dark at 5 o'clock. And as I pull up to the fucking RV, it's pitch black. So no lights are on inside any longer. And I'm like, okay, So I know we've had some crazy weather, so they probably lost power at some point and it needs to be rebooted or something. I don't know. I don't know anything about RVs. And you guys, I sent you guys a picture before I came in today. It's a substantial RV. In fact, everywhere my dad everywhere my dad talks about it, he refers to it as his bus.
It is a
So,
bus. It's like a tour bus, is what it looked like.
It
It
looks
was
like
way
that.
nicer than I imagined.
I was
yes.
expecting something like a old Winnebago with duct tape holding it together.
Yeah, like Cousin
As was
Eddie
I.
rolling up to the.
You and me both, Lyle.
Kind of like one of those land yacht looking things.
Crazy, right?
No, it's super crazy.
So, anyways, I roll up and I'm like, well, let's fucking do this. And I'm like, I just came alone. I'm just gonna take care of this. I walk up to the door with the key. I'm like shaking. I put the key in the fucking thing, turn it, go to open the door, nothing. I'm like, are you shitting me? So I'm over here trying the keys 6 ways from Sunday because there's 2 key slots on the front door too. And I'm looking down at the fucking key and it's got a label that says front door. And I'm like, this is clearly the front door key, but it's not opening this door. So after about 15 minutes, I'm losing my mind a bit, and I decide I'm gonna get in the RV one way or another, and I know that window is open in the back. So I drag in the dark. I drag a fucking picnic table over to, and I'm the guy. It's like I'm breaking into somebody's RV. You know, this is. I'm not. They call the cops if you want to, neighbors. So.
Well, remind us where the RV is at this point.
It's in Gig Harbor.
I mean, it's just at
It's
where.
It's like a nice RV lot, like resort where people go and they just park RVs and live here.
Okay,
They
so
just have hookups, and you just hook your water and your power up.
Exactly. So like my dad's spot, I know is $1,000 a month, for instance. Expensive.
Okay.
I'm like
Wow.
wildly expensive. Somebody reached out to me randomly that I haven't talked to in like 5 years and was like, hey, do you know any good RV resorts in Kitsap County? I'm like, wow, that's so weird you would ask that. I happen to know one, you know. But she called it up and
yeah.
well, she called and my dad must be like grandfathered in on some rate because they told her it was $2,000 a month to rent a spot here. I was like, whoa. So anyways,
Jesus.
all right, guys, this is where it gets fucking gross, and I apologize. So I open up the window, and it's higher than my head, so I can't hold the window open and hold a flashlight and get in this window. So I don't know really. I can get my head up, and I know I can push my body through, but I can't hold the light up to see where I'm gonna land. I don't know what I'm falling into, except I know that I can see the bed kind of like 2 feet in front of the window, so I know I'm not going to land in the bed. I'm going to land in front of it is kind of what I'm feeling. So I fucking get up, and I'm all still bruised and scraped from doing this, by the way. I climb through this tiny-ass fucking window, fall to the ground, immediately jump up, turn on my flashlight on my phone, and I'm looking around, and it's really clearly the spot my dad died. I fell right the fuck into it. So I'm like, whatever, okay. I get up, and I go try to find light switches. I had to reboot the power thing. All the lights came on. And that first night, I cleaned the bedspread, and a lot of there was a lot of poop on the ground. Like,
Yeah.
I think my dad was having problems before he died. So I cleaned up a lot of that and tried not to throw up, basically, and got a bunch, about 16 bags of garbage bagged up and taken outside. So Saturday, had a guy come out in a truck, take about 25 bags of shit, including like his wheelchair. My dad was wheelchair bound. I think I've said this several times, but the wheelchair was just toast. So I've just been fucking every day since cleaning out this fucking RV, and it was until yesterday I got the floors mopped finally, and they like don't look terrible any longer, and it's not smelling like a wet dog in here. It's the only way I can describe the smell was like a wet dog. But man,
I couldn't tell from the pictures that you were sending. Was it just a complete mess, or was it fairly well kept?
We got the afterwards video, didn't we?
You did,
Yeah.
yeah. You got the afterwards video. It's funny because like the front of the bus, everything from like the kitchen to the driver's seat was pretty well kept. Like my dad had it clean. It was just anything back in his bedroom was just like, it was just clothes everywhere on the ground, and like I found like. It was clear my dad was having a hard time getting to the bathroom because he had like a fucking giant jug of piss next to, his bed and stuff. Just things like that. Just gross fucking things.
Yeah.
But like I cleaned up all the gross shit, and now I'm just kind of sorting through I've got an actual cleaning lady coming on Friday, like I said, so my time was limited to get this presentable for her. In fact, so she cleans RVs for a living. And today she finally, because we've been corresponding via text, today she finally asked, she's like, did your dad die in the RV? And I couldn't
Be
lie to her.
honest.
I was like, he did. I was like, he did die in the RV, but I've been here. And she's like, does it need to be like aired out? And I'm like, oh, no, no, no. I've been here like 4 days in a row, doors open, windows open, cleaning it and stuff. And this was like 8 weeks ago at this point. Almost he died. So like, no, I took the mattress and that's gone. Everything's gone. Don't worry about that. She's like, okay.
Fair
And I was
questions.
like, whew, totally. Like, and that was my biggest concern. I was like, I don't know, like, what I'm gonna. I
Yeah,
have to
you
be
had the
honest.
same questions before you got in there.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, dude. So, anyway, so I did find the safe, and I opened
That's
it up
right.
after I waited till after I wanted to get everything cleaned as best I could, and I was like, well, now I'm gonna look. I opened it up, and there was about $30,000 in uncashed L&I checks in there that were still
Yeah.
that were
At
still
that
they're still good. Two of the
still
checks
good.
had as the estate were able to deposit those into the estate account. Now people may be thinking, "Wow, Christopher's gonna be rich." Probably not. Let me explain how this is gonna work via the lawyer. And maybe I think I might have already gone over this, but I basically had to go to his bank. I found his bank card, and they closed his account out, and we made an estate account. So anything that is salvaged from his estate goes directly into this account. Lawyer fees come out of this first, and then any of his debts come out, which I am learning there may be a substantial amount of medical and or government debts, like IRS. I'm not sure how good he was with his taxes.
Was he on disability? I mean,
Yes.
being wheelchair bound, you'd think that he'd be on
He
disability.
was, and it was from a injury he sustained from carpenter's union work. So that's why
L&I.
he had exactly. So he had these giant like $3,000 checks every 2
Well,
weeks. It seemed like.
that's kind of what you guessed, right? That's what you guessed might be in the safe at one point, or you knew
Yeah.
at some point you found out that there was an L&I claim, and
I
that was
did, yeah.
probably how he was at least paying for $1,000 a month and a decent RV, well, more than decent RV.
Yeah.
That payout. But you also said he didn't really, he wasn't too down with the banking system, so he probably just kept those checks until he absolutely needed to cash them, I guess. I don't know.
I think that's kind of his game. But so here's the deal. The story, of course, I have more weird stories to tell. Nothing can be normal with my dad. So,
no, nothing about this entire thing has been normal.
No, and it's perfectly on par for him. So I haven't seen my dad in 11 years in the flesh. God, I stop using that fucking expression. Just doesn't play well every time I use it, no matter the sitch. So I haven't seen my dad, and like I never saw him in a wheelchair. That was a fucking thing to me. Like I never saw him in a wheelchair. So all I know is I have his Chase debit card, and like I know he has a Chase bank account because I called them at one point, but I don't know like where he set up the branch. You know, he lived in Port Orchard all his life. I live in Bremerton. It's a city away. He's living in Gig Harbor, which is 30 minutes from my house. It's it's far. It's like freeway driving. It's not like you swing by Gig Harbor. It's like going out to fucking Kashmir. You know.
Yeah.
So I go to the bank branch that's closest to my house, and the guy was so nice. He sat me down. We were there for about 2 hours. Closed out my dad's account. He had about 10 grand in the account. We added those checks, so we're sitting at like 47 grand or something to pay for debts and lawyer fees. And then if there's anything left after that, it gets split 3 ways between me, my sister, and my deceased sister's daughter. So anyways, I'm at the bank account, blah, 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 blah. We're doing all that. And he goes, and there's the matter of the lockbox. And I'm like, excuse me? And he goes, your dad had a lockbox. And I was like, but not here, right? And he goes, oh, no, at this very branch. And I'm like,
he left
a
treasure map.
So I was like, okay. I was like, and he like pulls out this fancy ass key. He's like, did you find a key that looks like this? And I said, I did not find a key that resembles that in any level. And he goes, okay, we're going to have to drill it then. What that means is I have to be present when you open it and like witness that you pull the contents out, and we have to schedule this and yada yada yada. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So like now I'm thinking, what the fuck is in this lockbox?
Mm-hmm.
Like what could be? And like my mind immediately thinks it's like a hunk of silver or a hunk of gold or something stupid like that. That's something my dad would totally fucking be like stashing away. So I don't fucking know.
Uncashed cash. Yeah.
Uncashed cash would be great. Well, yeah, I mean, because company count, so. But I don't know where it's gonna go, man. I've got that appointment on Thursday that we're gonna schedule our drilling on Thursday.
The mystery keeps unraveling.
I don't think it's ever gonna end, honestly. So
Yeah, well, there could be a treasure map inside the fucking
There's going to be some kind of
lockbox.
clue in the lockbox to some location somewhere. Like, oh, what?
It's going to be Maury Povich's picture. It's like,
Fucking
you're
A.
not the son.
yeah, no shit. Oh my god.
But thanks
So,
for cleaning my RV. And he shows up.
Yeah.
You're on candid camera.
No shit. Your dad's alive.
Here's an awkward question for you, Chris, because I was
Yeah.
just thinking about it. I remember the first time I found my dad's porn, and
Yeah.
it happened to be animated. It was actually animated
What?
porn from the 20s. It was
Oh,
the most
man.
ridiculous thing ever, but it showed everything.
You mean
And
like
it was-
cartoon or like a comic book?
Like it was a comic book type. Like I want to say it was a paperback.
Oh, was it like a
but
Tijuana
it was
Bible?
like, well, no, it was just art. It wasn't nude pictures. It was art, drawn, like cartoonish. porn.
Right.
That's what it was. But it was based like in the 1920s. Weirdest shit ever. But like, did you happen to stumble across your dad's porn?
Not yet, but let me tell you, as you're telling me that, I'm actually back in the bedroom, like going through all this fucking socks drawers and shit right this moment. So if like,
Yeah.
you talk about timing, Lyle.
Yeah, we
I
could
could any
have a
moment.
live uncovering of who knows what.
Yeah,
There's
smut.
got to be. That's one thing we all have to think about from time to time. Well, dudes, I don't. Women probably don't have this
Oh.
problem as much as like, what should I plan on having self-destruct in the case of my
I joke
death?
about it with my porn all the time. I said, if you find any of my porn before or after I die, just kind of ignore it.
Oh yeah, heaven forbid you guys find my file system.
That's
extensive
true.
file
Yeah, it's all
system.
digital now. Just, it's in a lock drive. The password is in a lock box.
Yeah, it's a left to Ron though, so only he can discover.
So you are in the
Pass-
RV right
Password's
now.
David Grohl.
Yep.
You
The RV, you're right.
you got in there for the first time. Oh, it's only been a few days, right? Like a few days ago.
So today is Wednesday. I got in on Friday. Was the first night I was in.
And so you're just you're still cleaning, or you're still pulling stuff out. What are you doing now?
So right this moment, I'm bagging up anything. Like, there's nothing from this RV I'm keeping. Like, nothing. I can't. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, there's unopened Folgers cans and stuff in the kitchen, just garbage. Like, there's nothing I'm keeping. I just don't want anything. Like,
You
it's
got to
a lot
go.
of his
Yeah, I
clothes.
trust you're opening every
Oh,
like
of
can
course,
and jar
especially-
to see if he stuffed
Oh, yes.
anything in there. Sure.
The way my dad was, absolutely.
Yeah.
Weird question. Did he own it? I mean, was it paid off, the RV?
It was. Yeah, he paid cash
Wow.
for it.
Yeah.
I
Must have
found
been a
he paid
significant
100
settlement.
That's
He,
not a,
he
dude. That's like
yeah.
that's a what, like $200,000?
not quite.
That's
He
a-
paid
$140
140 for it. I found the receipt, but
Oh wow,
so
you
it paid.
got a good deal.
I think so too. It's like 2016, so it's a newer one. I don't know how the miles on it yet because I haven't started. I've been too scared to try to start this fucker. So God knows
Yeah,
it like
also-
lurches into somebody else's trailer or something.
Yeah, driving something
Some
like
of
that
those,
is next level.
Yeah. So, but it's got like he's got like a wheelchair lift built into the side of it and everything. Like he's got upgrades on this
Yeah,
thing. So,
he's pimped his ride.
but I don't know how much work it's gonna need, and I just want to be done with this so bad. So I've got a guy from one of the RV shops coming to just take a look and tell me about the consignment program. Basically, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so more mystery to come, and it sounds like any of that money may or may not end up with you. Probably not all of it.
Yeah, I think I'd be lucky. I'd be like, I was thinking about like what I'd be really happy to come away from this with. And I say that like it sounds callous, but like the shit I've had to
No,
do.
the least that you should hope to get out of this at some point. I mean, what
Yeah.
I don't know what you'd find that would be like. I mean, obviously, it's hard for me. I think it's hard for any of us to imagine like what this whole experience has been like for you in terms of like an emotional, reconnecting with your pops and like just being in his little space and maybe seeing like even in the video that you sent me, it's like he had it kind of set up like a home with like his little knickknacks propped up on the wall and some pictures.
Oh yeah,
or
did I
whatever,
send you the dumbass picture of me on the wall? Here, I'll send that right now.
But-
get a kick out of this.
But so that could be bad and good. That can be something healing for you. But ultimately, this is a bunch of work. This is a bunch of hassle. This is a bunch of super stressful shit. And if you walked away with all 30,000 of that, it would, in my opinion, you're. It's not like I don't think most of us would want to go through a lot of this for that much money. It's a chunk of money, but we're not talking like this is life-changing money here. Not in this day and age. But even if you get all of it, I think that you have you have more than earned it.
Just a sec, guys.
It would be nice to have a little nest egg for Logan, for like a college fund or something like that to start one.
Any chunk of that would be a great, or just a new TV. Treat yourself, Chris. I know he had to go away. Oh, he's texting pictures.
Look at that haircut. I used to have that bowl haircut.
We all had the bowl penis head haircut, didn't we? They don't really do that so much. I haven't seen that one come back. Just about everything else from the 80s has come back. Even the mullet, although it's a different kind of mullet. It's more like a...
Oh, the bowl cut? Yeah.
It's like a red Sonia mullet. But the bowl cut like this, I have not seen that... Well, I kind of have seen that come back, actually, in women. Not so much dudes.
Yeah. My mom used to cut my hair. You could tell it was fucking terrible.
That's a straight-up mop top. That's a Beatles cut right there.
Totes Beetle cut. And nobody liked it. It was not well received. It's cool, I'll tell you that much.
Well, now show us the one from when you were a kid.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, you still got a good, strong hairline. Not all of us.
Thankfully.
Are so lucky.
Going gray as a motherfucker, though.
I'd kill to have that bowl. It like I say all the time, it's not the years that age you, it's the living. And you're going through a lot of living in the past year, shifting into a different living situation, and kids getting into that age where it's raising a baby's tough, but it ain't like raising a toddler.
Nope.
Which you are now doing.
Now. Yeah.
And so it's the living that will bring those hairs, but everyone loves a little salt and pep.
Yeah,
I'm definitely
keeps
getting
trying
more
to
in
tell
the
me.
chin. So I had one more question.
Yeah, burning, I hope.
So I guess going back to the money thing, since you are now the guy, you're the one that's in charge. Are you guys like splitting this up? Maybe you said this already, and there's been so much
so basically,
with sister.
Everything is getting deposited into this one account. And at the end, it's going to take 4 months. So debtors have 4 months because they're running ads in the newspaper about it. My dad being dead, come after your money. So they have 4 months to come for it. And if they don't come for after 4 months, it's kind of a done deal. So we're going to pay off all the debts that I can find. It is fucking fascinating to know what this process is like. And I'm not grateful to have gone through it, but I'm grateful for the knowledge that I've received. And I'm also really, I put a post up after that first night where I was like, you don't know how strong you are until you have to be.
Yeah.
You can really get through horrendous shit when you have to. And don't sell yourself short. I'll never forget, Ron, you said something on this podcast once that stays with me. It really, truly does. And that is, you find your fear and you run at it. Run towards it. Yeah. That fucking resonated with me, man. And this experience has definitely been one of those.
Well, that's the thing. It's like you don't know how strong you are until you have to be, but you still have to make the choice to do it. And you could have made the choice to not go anywhere near this. And whether that's right or wrong is not really even the issue. It's like you could no one would have blamed you for not doing all this for what basically equates to an absentee relationship with your pops for a decade and a half, but you did, and that is my philosophy in life, and we can see examples of the opposite all around us. Especially, I have so much problem with the modern self-help world because so much of it is, no, you're perfect as you are. It's everyone else. It's all these things that have been done to you, and and there's some truth to a lot of that, but that's not everything. At some point you have to start fighting against the current, or you're gonna drown. You gotta fight, and it sucks, and it's hard, and if you can't do it on your own, then that's where maybe therapy or even medication to a certain degree is something that people need. But if you can just make that decision and do the hard shit, I think you're better on the other side of it. But Yeah, this is fascinating because it's fascinating to see how, we're all going to start. We're getting older. We're going to start losing our parents. We're going to start losing other family members where it's going to come down to us. I had to see my parents go through this. I'm all out of grandparents at this point, and seeing them go through this was an awakening experience. But it's also interesting to sort of see what happens when we go away. And all the shit and all the it never occurred to me that people who you owe money to, like, that doesn't just necessarily go away. They get a shot at they get a crack.
The pound of flesh. Yeah.
Armada gets one more shot at the
Ooh, Lyle, I found some DVDs.
The old Uh-oh. Pop it in. Pop it in.
Little
Live
House
play.
on the Prairie and the Waltons. My dad was so boring.
You know what? But is that Sharpied on there? Because I guarantee you that's porn.
Oh, dude, you know what I did find, though? I found a bunch of Narcan in his medicine cabinet. I think he was on Oxy, and they prescribed him Narcan just in case. And I think this may be a contributing factor to his death, frankly, because he was prescribed. I went through and I found, like, all his... Yeah, I'm opening the DVD case just to be sure, Pops. I found all
look
his,
behind the
like,
labels, where you can stash some checks. Or
yeah, no shit. Nothing. I'm really disappointed.
Polaroids of your mom from the 70s. No,
I haven't started his phone up. I have that. I found that to cram down the side of the bed, but I haven't yet had the courage to start it up yet. I don't know. Oh, there's another fucking box.
Be honest. Are you gonna hit the photos folder if it's not past locked?
I don't know, dude. I don't know if I can. This is like a weapon lockbox or something.
It doesn't seem like your dad was terribly dirty so far. Like, if you are 3 days into my post-life RV, you're going to find some shit. You're already ass deep into
we found like 2
what
skeletons
I'm into.
in kennels.
A couple mannequins.
I got to be honest. I'm really glad to be podcasting with you guys right now because it's an easy way to pass the time while I'm doing something kind of terrible.
Well, that's another thing that I was thinking about. It's like, I know we talked about, I think we called her Mary, Meth Mary.
Yeah.
Now, you're just kind of out there in the park. Are you being careful to watch your back and make sure none of, no shady characters come up and say, I want that shit. I want this. I want that. Or, there's valuables in there. And
the park itself is really secure. In fact, there just down the street, there's like a Washington State Patrol guy. Like you see his cruiser's parked right down the street from my dad's. Like he clearly lives here. I don't know. I haven't felt. I've interacted a lot with some of my dad's neighbors and stuff. Like got some stories from them and learned some shit, obviously. And they're all like, this place is really safe. He's like, I'll keep an eye on her dad's RV, but almost nothing ever happens here. I'm like, whew, that's kind of nice.
What are the neighbors saying about your dad?
Man, they have lots of stories to tell. He would like open up his side door here and lower the wheelchair ramp on it, but he wouldn't get off the ramp. He'd just kind of sit perched on it, drinking his coffee.
Like a little
just, like address people. Yeah, that would walk by. He's like a king in his kingdom,
Sure.
Get a lot of that. But oh my God, so I went to the post office box because I knew he had a post office. I just didn't know where it was. Again, 5 minutes from my house. Where he lived, 30 minutes from my house. So he would cruise, and it started to get me thinking, like, how many times did I pass my dad? Like, was he just in a wheelchair and I didn't know? So I went into this fucking it's like a pack and mail place, like a UPS store type sitch.
Yeah.
And I run in, and there's this little Asian lady sitting there, and clearly her daughter working there, like a family operation. And I walk in, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I was like, this is going to be weird, but my dad had a post office box here, and he passed away. And I only know he has one because I found the receipt from the last time he paid for it. And I could see the look on her fucking face the moment I said that. She put her hand to her chest and grabbed that receipt out of my hand and like, please don't be him, please don't be him. Oh my God, it's him, was what she said. Like, she knew it was going to be my dad. She came out with a giant stack of mail, was telling me tales about him. She's like, see this plant up here? He sent us this plant, blah, 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 blah. He was our favorite customer, blah. And this is like every interaction with every person I fucking go to that's had time with my dad, So just a lot of things like that.
This is such a common thing with... I don't know how you would sum your dad up. I mean, deadbeat might not be fair, but, absentee to some degree, just aloof and, not there for you, certainly at some parts of your life, but there for other people in a weird way. Like they're capable of these connections.
Long-term relationships are impossible.
Yeah, I guess that's it. And there's something about family that they just don't see that as the responsibility that they have, but keeping up good relations with other people is something, it's not like he was just holed up in a little shack in Montana, doing the Ted Kaczynski life. It sounds like he was social, well-liked. People are sad that he's gone.
Yeah, it's wild, right?
That's got to be weird to process when it's like, well, if you're the visiting type, you have my number. I got a grandson.
Exactly.
Did he ever see Logan and on any capacity?
He had a picture of me and him hanging in the RV. He must have got off Facebook or something, or maybe I texted it to him. But he printed it out and had it hanging up. But he never got to meet him.
That's right.
That's kind of bummed me out.
You had communicated with him then. You just hadn't seen each other since.
That's correct. Yeah, we.
Okay.
I told you, like last Christmas, he reached out and sent me his old
guitar.
The guitar. And like a check for $5,000.
That must have been when he got his payout, huh?
I think it was about that. It was that year. Like he had just got to Gig Harbor. I think he'd flown out to Arizona with somebody and purchased this RV and drove it here. So yeah.
Nothing in the DVDs. So are these store-bought DVDs or are they blanks that he sharpied Little House on the Prairie on top of?
Some of these are fucking straight up still sealed. Let's see. I've got the Hee Haw collection. Calm down, Ron. The Waltons double
I got a
disc
thing
set.
for a gal in short jean shorts and
a gal with a
cowboy
big ass
boots.
gap in her mouth.
Certainly. Keep it in the family.
Crocodile. Ooh, hey, he changed it up. Crocodile Dundee 2.
Part 2.
Oh.
No one in sight.
Let's see.
The first one was pretentious. They really had fun with number 2.
He must have really liked the Waltons because I see about 18 box sets. It must have. I don't know anything about the
box sets.
Yeah. Like wow. I should take a picture of this for you.
You might get some money out of that shit.
No.
When's the last time you saw a box set of the Waltons?
There's a bunch of ammunition and bullets. Okay.
I just discovered a Sid and Nancy DVD in my collection that's now worth $400. That's what it's going for up on eBay.
Are you shitting me?
It's like why haven't I put this thing up on eBay? I just hate eBaying. That's the only reason. But yeah, it was just some weird director's cut that was a limited edition, and then you never saw it again. And it's been re-released with all the bonus stuff on it, but it's just a different. People are weird about that. I got the original. Anyway, what about music? Any music?
It's funny. I was always trying to think about where I got my love of music from, and it wasn't from my dad. Like, he liked country music, but he didn't. Yeah, he did have a few CDs I found, but they were, like, clearly not ones he was listening to on the reg, I don't think my dad was ever that into music or sports, for that matter. Two things I enjoy very much.
I get not being into sports. I never get not being into music. I never relate to what life must be like. It's just like, it feels like you're broken. It feels like you are a broken soul if you don't like music. I've straight up heard dudes say, I don't care for music. It makes me wonder if they have some sort of like hearing situation that has never been really diagnosed, that maybe music just doesn't sound right to them. It just doesn't make sense.
No, it really doesn't.
Well, what's something that you've come across in that RV that maybe was a surprise? You have anything like that? I'm putting you on the spot here. I mean, this is like a real-time thing. I'm just trying to.
I was surprised to see how much technology my dad was utilizing. Like, he had an Alexa and shit, which fucking blew my mind. But one of the things that I thought that really kind of shocked me, not really shocked me, but caught me off guard, was as I've been cleaning out all the drawers and everything, I forget my dad was wheelchair bound. So the stuff up top is like barren, but the go-to drawers down below that as a tall person I would never even touch are full of shit.
Interesting.
Like, just wild. Yeah. I don't know, that kind of surprised me a little bit. I'm trying to think of it if there's a
When I first moved into this house, it was built by a little guy. So everything stopped at like 4'8". There was nothing really interesting done in the top part of the walls. I had a question. That stupid factoid of my house. Chased it out. Well, anyway.
I think I'm gonna wrap up in this
oh.
trailer for now and transition to my car, guys.
Well, you mentioned that you thought was there an autopsy? Do we know what he actually died from? I can't remember.
Not yet. There was an autopsy, but we're waiting on toxicology,
Okay.
which is why when I know he was in the hospital like 2 weeks before he died, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I found like the packet they gave him, like the what you need to know. It's like a giant ass packet because you stayed in the hospital. So here's what your medications look like, etc. And one of the medications was oxy.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So
That's some potent
I was
shit.
like, I wonder if he mixed a little or something, or just had a bad reaction. But like I said, he had Narcan up in the fucking
that stuff's
medicine
amazing.
cabinet, like prescribed.
What an amazing
prescribed Narcan.
invention, that shit.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know how it works, but for anyone that doesn't know what it is, if you're ODing, you take it, and it can stop you from ODing, and it works amazingly well. There's a lot of local programs. One I think is worthy of investing into. If you're looking for a charitable thing to put into, local, you may not want to support local drug addicts, but it's not really supporting local drug addicts. It's supporting humans that may or may not have the means to just get clean, and then they're dying, and that can save them, and maybe then they'll get clean. It's a really interesting technology, one invented by these evil people in white laboratory coats that are now the devil, apparently. So are you going to get back in your car and head home? Is that what you're saying, Chris?
Yeah, but I can still chat with you guys here. I'm just kind of changing my shoes. I have a pair of shoes I put on every time I come in here because lordy.
Well,
I do have a go ahead. I do have a little weird, fun trivia I'd like to give you guys before I hit the road, though. It's not a full-fledged weird triv, but it's a fun one. I think you'll enjoy. Maybe I can do that before you want to talk about, so I can drive.
Oh yeah, I just got. I didn't know how the show was going to go, so I thought once we got in, I'd have a few stories to talk about, but they're evergreen. So yeah, let's get into it and see where it goes.
Okay, let me just close up shop here. All right, Pops. The first day I came here, I did all the hard stuff, and then I kind of sat down in the captain's chair towards the front, and I had the door wide open the whole time I was doing it, and I was like finally like processing everything I just fucking been through, everything I just saw and cleaned up, and falling through the window and seeing my dad's space for the first time. And as I was sitting there, I was starting to cry a little bit. And as I was doing that, the door to the RV slowly shut completely. Like it hadn't done that. I know it's just the wind, but it hadn't done that all night long. I was like, wow, that's weird.
Yeah. Before you get onto your thing, I'm curious. What was, when you said you'd done the hard stuff, I can only imagine the hierarchy of hardness in that scenario. I'm curious what the when you're faced with a challenge, cleaning up a mess, reorganizing your house, cleaning out the back of your car, if you're like me, I'm curious where did you start? What was the first thing that you did to just get off your plate?
So the first thing I had to do was the bedding. I couldn't look at that anymore. It was gross.
Yeah, I saw that in the photo.
Yeah, so I got the bedding. My mom gave me a good tip. She was like, listen, she's like, sorry, my car's starting up. When you get in there, she's like, you're going to grab that bedding and it's going to be full of like bodily stuff. And you're going to want to bunch it at the...
I'm going to finish your sentence. I think she probably said, you're going to die. You cut out. Are you back?
Oh, yeah, it switched to my car audio. How's this for audio? Should I go back to the headset?
Oh, definitely, if you can.
Okay, just a sec here. Sorry, just hijacked me. All right, let's go.
You sound more like John Mark when he's...
So she told me it's going to be bad, and what you want to do is start at the bottom and bunch, and then just roll, like start rolling it. And that was a fucking life-saving tactic. Mm-hmm. So I just rolled it right up into like one roll, and then into a garbage bag.
Make a poopy doobie.
Poopy doobie, bro.
You got to find your joys where you can. Good tip.
Yeah, it was good. It was
and where did that come from? Where did that tip come from, Mom? I guess being a mom.
My mom. Well, no, she worked like in an old folks home for a spell, so she had some experience.
You know the term, it's all about who you know. They say that when it comes to like money or opportunities, and that's true, but it's also just about knowing people that can give you like a little tip like that can really improve an already shitty day. Terrible
It's the truth. Yeah, it's the truth,
choice
man.
of words, but it's all about who you know and about having people just there for you. Okay, I'm ready for whatever you got here.
Okay, we're gonna do a fun little thing, and we're gonna do it. I'm just gonna read it to you and make you guess, and then give you who's right, who's wrong, right on the spot. We're not gonna go over it twice.
Sure.
This is an unofficial strange trip, just to get you guys by until we have a real one next week, hopefully. This is all about famous quotes, or not so famous quotes, really. Quotes that I found to be funny, and you have to guess who they're attributed to.
Okay.
And it will be multiple choice. All right. Quote 1. I have no respect for Santa. Don't sneak in through the chimney and undermine my authority by bringing my family presents. Walk through the front door and fight me like a man. Who said this?
That's good.
Is it A, Kanye West?
Oh, the old Kanye herring.
Is it B,
Classic.
Cardi B? Or Cardigan Backyardigan if you prefer her full name.
Cardigan Backyardigan, I like that. I don't know much about her.
Or is it C, Frank Sinatra?
Well, he would
Or
do
lastly-
it his way.
Or lastly, D, Billy Ray Cyrus? Don't take my presents.
My poorly rapid presents.
Just
Uh,
don't think you'd understand.
All right, who's going
What are you going to go with, Ronster?
Boy, Billy Ray came out of left field. I'm torn between he and Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra is sort of like a classic tough guy kind of character, but Billy Ray Cyrus seems like he has way more of a sense of humor, and that's a humor-based thing. Although, God, yeah, I'm gonna go with Billy Ray.
Billy Ray. Okay. Put you down for D here. John Mark.
Can you just do the quote once more real quick?
I'll do the quote for you one more time, John Mark. You got it. I got no respect for Santa. Don't sneak in through the chimney and undermine my authority by bringing my family presents. Walk through the front door and fight me like a man. Kanye West, Cardi B, Frank Sinatra, or Billy Ray Cyrus?
I'm going to say Kanye West.
I always enjoyed
Okay.
Billy Ray Cyrus's small character in David Lynch's Mulholland Drive. I don't know if you remember.
Oh,
that.
yeah,
He's
I forgot about
He's the
that.
pool boy.
Yeah, God, that feels like a long time ago. That
He's
movie was
probably
bonkers.
upset, Diane. Good shit. That's one of my favorite movies. Lyle, what are you feeling?
I did like it too. Yeah.
Be like, goddamn Miley, put some clothes on. It's Santa Claus. He's coming around. Oh yeah,
She's naked around her dad.
She's like,
that's naked around everybody, dude.
I think that's the truth. That girl
Might
loves
be
me naked.
true.
I ain't complaining.
No.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
cute. I like Miley.
Yeah, me too.
she's
I
a
think she's
fucking
talented,
kook.
too. I
I
think
think she'd be fun
Oh,
to hang
totally.
out with.
Yeah. Okay, Lyle, what you gonna go with?
The Cyrus. Yeah, Mr. Cyrus.
Oh, all right, Mr. Cyrus. Look how he got fucking
I've got his
Have some
name out
respect,
here. Oh,
boy.
yeah,
respect, Mr. Cyrus.
Mr. Cyrus. Let me tell you something.
Okay, who's famously quoted as saying, "I've had great success being a total idiot."
Mm.
Is it Jim Carrey, Jerry Lewis, Chris Farley, or Seth Rogen?
Boy, that is tough.
I've had great success being a total idiot. Jim Carrey, Jerry Lewis, Chris Farley, or Seth Rogen?
I gotta go Jim Carrey, but I'm really tempted to go with Jerry Lewis.
I'll put you down for Jim Carrey. Oh, I kind of said we were gonna. I'll just do the answers at the end. Fuck it. I can't. Old habits die hard.
Yeah.
Okay, Ron's going for Jim Carrey. John Mark.
Jerry Lewis sounded good. I mean, they all kind of sound good for the most part, but I'm gonna go with Seth Rogen.
Oh,
Rogue. Okay. Okay, Lyle.
I'm going with Chris Farley.
Oh, interesting. Nobody went with the same
All over
answer.
the
I like
place.
it.
Mhm.
Okay, question 3. Quote 3. I was employed on The Fox and the Hound for about a year, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't get the style. It was too soft for me. I was just not Disney material. I couldn't draw cute foxes for the life of me. Who said this? And The Fox and the Hound, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. I think it's a 1980 or 81
Yeah.
Disney
I
anime. Yeah.
might know this.
Oh,
If you
okay.
Say
Well, I'm
the
going to make you
name,
go
I
last.
definitely know it.
I'm going to make you go last now that you said that.
Okay.
So you don't ruin it for the other. Was it Steven Spielberg, Robert Rodriguez, Tim Burton, or Alan Moore? One of these people was working for Disney on the Fox and the Hound animated movie at one point, and worked on it for almost a year. And this just wasn't for them. They just wasn't their style.
Mhm.
Steven Spielberg, Robert Rodriguez, Tim Burton, or Alan Moore? John Mark.
I'm going with Tim Burton.
Ooh.
Yeah, animators. The only animator that's in there is Tim Burton.
Well, I mean, Alan Moore is a famous comic book animator.
I don't know him, so
Oh.
I'm just saying.
Is that who you're going to go with then? Tim Burton?
Yeah.
Okay. Put you down for Tim Burton. Ronster.
I don't believe Alan Moore's an artist. He's a writer. And
You
I
don't
can
know.
say that.
Maybe he
now.
was writing.
I don't know. I mean,
You don't know.
it's entirely possible that Alan Moore, but he's known for writing comic books. But I'm going to go with Tim Burton. Old Timmy Burton here.
Okay. Family Game on Tim Burton. Okay. Quote 4. Get at least 8 hours of beauty sleep a night. 9 if you're ugly. Who said this? Was it Joan Rivers, Betty White, Lucille Ball,
R.I.P.
or Sarah Silverman?
Okay, 8 hours of sleep, 9 if you're ugly. Boy.
8 hours of beauty sleep a night. 9 if you're ugly.
You know, it's funny. I just watched the new Lucille and Desi Arnaz movie on
How was it?
Amazon. I thought it was really
Yeah.
good. It's interesting. They took a very specific, tiny little slice of their life, and it was all about that. But I thought it was really interesting. I thought Nicole Kidman did a really good job of being Lucy. She just fucking nailed the voice. Javier
Really?
Bardem doesn't look anything like
Desi.
Desi, Ricky Ricardo, but it worked. But I thought it was an interesting movie, and really, I'm so glad that I wasn't from that fucking era. As much as I like a lot of the aesthetic and some of the music and some of the entertainments that came out of that era, I'm so glad I didn't have to deal with any of that shit. That feels a little like Lucy to me, but total fucking guess.
Okay, I'll put you down for Lucille Ball. John Mark?
By the way, do any of you actually get 8 hours or anything close to 8 hours of sleep on average?
No.
Closer to 7 on average.
7 would be a huge night's sleep for me. What do you guys, real quick, I'm sorry to hijack, but I'm curious.
Okay.
I'm thinking more like, honestly, good sleep, like 5 or 6, maybe if I'm lucky.
Yeah, I think five might be a good night for me. 5 or 6, yeah, same.
When
Miles?
God, that's terrible.
Before I was sick,
It is terrible.
Well, at
when I
least
was
I'm not
working-
ugly.
well, when I was
Sorry.
when I was working before I got sick, it was about 6.
Mhm.
I think I get less now that I don't work.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
could see
5.
that. Well, you did hard work. It was like manual.
Well, the thing is,
hard
I wake
labor.
up at 4:30. When I got dialysis, I'm up at 4:30 in the morning.
Good God.
I have to be in like over there, all the way across town at 6.
Yeah.
I have this lame thing that happens. I'll wake up at like fucking 2 or 3 or something, and I just can't get back to sleep. So that I spend like a fucking hour or 2 hours just on Twitter or whatever.
Oh, see, that's
And
the
then-
mistake. Can't reach for that phone.
Well, I don't unless I know that I can't sleep. For
I
sure.
feel you.
It's
I
like,
do it too.
It's like
but you shouldn't.
I know you shouldn't, but it's like I'm just sitting there. Otherwise, I'm gonna just get up and read a book or something, you know. Like I don't know, but I don't want to be up. Is the thing, is you know. And then my eyes get scratchy. Then I close my eyes, and maybe around 5:30, I'll
right
I'll
before
get
you gotta
into
get
REM again for another half an hour or something.
That's the
And
worst. When you
sometimes
sit
that's
there,
enough, though. Sometimes that little bit, if you just fall asleep for a little while before you have to get up. Sometimes, for me anyway, sometimes that's enough. It's like,
It helps. It helps, but
yeah, I don't think
sucks.
most humans are running on anywhere near a full tank.
especially these days.
Yeah, we got too much shit to do, man. We gotta
That's fair.
get through Battlestar Galactica for the third straight time. Where you going here, John Mark?
That sounds like a very Joan Rivers thing to say to me, so that's what I'm gonna go for.
Yeah, it's a good list. It could be any.
I
of these
see
for sure.
Joan. I can see Joan Rivers saying that, but I'm going to go with Betty White.
Lyle going with Betty.
Yeah, we are all over the map
R.I.P.
tonight.
I know, it's going to be interesting to score this. Okay, lastly, I got one more. The quote is, I detest Sonic. His smug attitude, his blazing speed, his desire to collect gold. He's everything I hate in this world. If more Sonic games come out, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself.
Capitalist
Who said
hedgehog.
this? Who said this? Was it Dave Matthews? Or was it...
That's my Dave Matthews
He's the
impersonation.
king of the gold ring. Was it
He's
Lemmy?
always looking for gold rings. Sorry.
Lemmy was answer B.
Lemmy did love his video games.
Was it
Interesting.
Chris Cornell?
Hmm.
Or was it Kurt Cobain? One of these people said this.
Wow.
Mhm.
God.
Again, the quote is, I detest Sonic, his smug attitude, his blazing speed, his desire to collect gold. He's everything I hate in this world. If more Sonic games come out, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself.
On the one hand, I mean, Lemmy was a funny, clever motherfucker, but I feel like it's almost somewhat beneath him to even comment on Sonic the Hedgehog. And yet,
Funny.
out of that
Also,
that
I feel
list-
like Lemmy wouldn't appreciate the blazing speed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah,
to Lemmy is like, oh my god, this is the slowest, dullest game I've ever seen.
Gotta go fast.
He saw every frame like a vampire. God, I'm going with Dave Matthews. I have no idea why. He dropped all his rings down. He gotta pick up them gold rings. Although Dave Matthews doesn't seem like this is a very anti-capitalist statement, very anti-hustle for the gold statement, and he doesn't seem like the anti
Like,
that.
I-
But I'm
I-
sticking with it.
I know that Lemmy played the Vigima games, but I feel like he only basically played like the video poker kind of shit that was at the bar on the counter.
He loved the trivia game.
Um,
In fact, when he was dying, he famously played it at the end of the rainbow. At the end of the bar, the end of the rainbow, where the pot of gold was.
Literally.
At the end of the bar that he frequented almost every day and was right down the street from him. So much
Watch
so
that
that,
documentary again.
yeah, when he was sick, they actually had that machine delivered to his living room so he could just sit on his couch and play it while he was basically dying. Which
Wow.
Was, yeah. But I think he
I
did
don't-
play other video games. That
Probably.
Sonic.
I would assume so.
Why is it weird for me to picture him commenting on Sonic the Hedgehog?
I
Same with Kurt
don't-
Cobain.
Yes, Kurt Cobain, like I feel like would just hate all video games in general and never played them.
I don't think he
feel
would
like.
ever admit that he was. Yeah, I feel like even if he did play them, he probably wouldn't admit it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Chris Cornell, maybe. I'm going with Dave Matthews too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's probably between Dave and Chris. That is a good. I forgot about Cornell, but
Okay. Lyle.
As the rings come, as you are, as you were, as I want you to be. Ding, 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 ding.
I think we know who
Yeah,
Lyle's
ding,
going
ding, 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 ding.
So
I'm going
Cornell, I'm assuming. Okay.
with.
Kurt Cobain.
Oh,
You
yeah.
gotta
I'm cool.
It
Oh, I'm
was
sorry.
during
Okay. I didn't hear
It
what
was
you were
during
saying.
that generation of the beginning '90s, when Sonic first came out.
Hmm. Yeah, wasn't
All
Sega
right.
Genesis right before Super Nintendo? I think they were actually the first 16-bit console, and Nintendo had to do a little catch-up.
No, but it was the '90s.
No, I think I can't remember. Yeah, maybe I think you're right. I think Sega came out swinging. to
That
try
was
to
the
take down
one play.
NES.
It was like we gotta beat Nintendo.
Before
I
Sony-
could be wrong, but
Can't
No, it
remember
was
now.
Sega and Sony, and then
Yeah.
Sony kind of took over, and then Nintendo, or not Nintendo, Windows, or your Xbox. Oh, yeah.
All right, let's go over the answers here, see how you guys did real quickly. Quote 1, I have no respect for Santa. Don't sneak in through the chimney and undermine my authority by bringing my family presents. Walk in through the front door and fight me like a man. Famously said by Billy Ray Cyrus in an interview.
oh shit, yeah,
Ron and Lyle with the point of pop there.
yeah.
I've
that's fine.
had great success being a total idiot was said by Jerry Lewis. You sure went with your gut,
Oh,
roster?
damn.
Nobody got
Yep.
that correct.
Yeah.
I was employed on Fox and the Hound for about a year, but just couldn't do it. I couldn't get the style. It was too soft for me. I was just not Disney material. I couldn't draw cute foxes for the life of me. Was indeed Tim Burton. Well done. Couldn't fool you
Yeah.
guys on that one. So so far Lyle is 2 for 3. and Ron has 2 points as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Yeah.
I didn't. Did John Mark
so
not go
you-
with Tim Burton?
Did you not? No, you all got points, but
No,
on
yeah,
that one. Yeah.
I
So he
did.
has 1 point.
I only have 1 point though.
Question 4. Get at least 8 hours of beauty sleep a night. 9 if you're ugly was Betty White.
No.
Bam,
Wow.
son.
Pulling ahead.
Right.
And lastly, I detest Sonic. His smug attitude, his blazing speed, his desire to collect gold. He's everything I hate in this world. If more Sonic games come out, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. Probably kill myself with a shotgun, because it was Kurt Cobain,
Oh
Lyle!
no!
Wow.
Yeah.
Now that's an interesting quote.
Isn't it really?
It is.
I wonder what in
I never-
context that quote came from.
I don't know. I never figured Kurt to be a video game
was-
playing guy.
I think that's the
pretty
first
witty,
video
yeah.
game quote I've ever heard from him.
Yeah, he was pretty
Yeah,
witty when
isn't that crazy?
talked and shit. He'd usually pull out a quick one-liner, doing
Well, yeah,
interviews. and
he's
stuff
definitely
like that.
clever, but
He was funny.
I mean, he's no Dave Matthews, but he's a very witty individual.
He's no Dave Matthews.
I'm just blown away that fucking Dave Matthews
Sonic.
became that huge. With that was their like breakthrough song, right? Everything about that band I find wretched. And the people who are in love with that band are fucking crazy about it. And what are you hearing? I know that it's all subjective and it's music. We like what we like, we don't. But Dave Matthews' success, man, just baffles me. We talked about it recently. Every Memorial Day, it's Memorial Dave weekend. I don't care if you're Tool, Radiohead, the biggest bands on planet Earth cannot book a show at the Gorge on Memorial Dave weekend because he sells it out 3 days in a row. Yeah, crazy. Anyway, well, if I'm not mistaken, Lyle just whipped it out.
Yeah, he
Whipped
did.
it out
You
and
guys
smacked us across the
totes
fucking
scribbled.
faces.
Yeah.
Sonic wants a golden ring.
Did you know that,
Should've
Lyle, or did you
heard.
just
Yeah.
or did you
It
just
just
guess?
made sense.
Would you say that he crippled us?
He definitely crippled us.
for sure.
Give us a
Yeah.
little
Back.
triple cripple.
Oh wait. Triple cripple.
My favorite is when you launch into space for sure.
Ooh, try to turn that into like a spacey Chewbacca, like then really turn it up. No, not the sound I make when I'm coming.
I'm a good comer.
I hope no one's fucking in the kitchen listening to this episode. You just
Oh
ruined
my
it.
god!
Whew. Yeah, that's good shit.
between corpse cleanup and Lyle's fucking sound effects,
Yeah,
I'm sure
someone-
that juices are flowing.
The title of this episode: Weird Coming. Weird coming, weird going. Huh. Well, that was fun. Well, we're only at an hour, so maybe I'll get into some of these news stories. If you want to hit the road, Chris, you'll probably be able to
I'm already
hear.
on it, baby.
Oh, you're already
Yeah.
on it. All right. I got a couple things here that I found today that I thought were worth bringing if we did record. And the first one I saw was a controversial tweet by Pabst. Pabst Blue Ribbon, hipster chosen, hipster approved. And, a lot of people do this dry January thing. I got a few friends that are doing it right now with some
Boring.
success, where they just try to quit drinking. I think it's a good thing to do, to just give
Oh,
your
I know.
liver a break. I have done my version of it, which is try to not drink an entire fifth in 1 week. And I've done pretty well with that. But now that I'm done with all my whiskey, I'm just done buying whiskey for a while, and I just keeping beer in the house because it's way easier for me, and probably for everybody, to just keep track. If you are trying to, just like you're trying to count calories, you're trying to lose pounds, drinking, cracking open a beer is like, okay, there's one beer. And even if it's a strong beer, it's one beer. And I know that I now had 2 beers. When I pour a whiskey, I'm not measuring that shit out. I guess I could, but it's
so
just,
easy to just imbibe.
Is this little
It's
glass 3 or 5 shots? We don't know.
It's like drinking wine.
And
It's like drinking wine.
and you drink it as fast as you do like a beer. I do anyway. It just goes down so smooth. So it's dangerous if you're trying to cut back.
It's like drinking wine where you have a glass and then you kind of like you drink half of it. You just pour a little more in there. And like at some point you're like, how many glasses of wine did I have?
Yeah.
But when I see 3 empty beers on the bar, then I know, okay, well, now I should be good. I'll have a cigar and call it a night. And it works. It works for me anyway. But so this tweet is directly connected to that. And they just did this. So they said, I'm not making this up, not drinking this January, try eating ass.
Who said this?
Pabst, the official Pabst Twitter.
All right.
And then one Twitter user responded with PBR or ass. What's the difference?
That's funny.
To which, and
That's
I'm getting this
funny.
right off of. I didn't write down what website. I think I got this off of Gizmodo. And anyway, so Pabst responded to that with "Ask your mom."
Oh.
And then, and it also responded, to another user who suggested a name change. Sorry. Who suggested a name change for the brand Pabst Blue Ribbon. The company is responding and interacting with these texts. For a while, it didn't take long for them to, reverse course, taking down the tweets after a few hours and issuing a statement apologizing for the content, which reads thusly: "We apologize about the language and content of our recent tweets," which is disappointing. They should have just kept rocking this train and just owned this character.
This is us now.
Yeah, if you lost a few drinkers, you didn't lose a few drinkers. You might have pissed a few people off that never cared about Pabst Blue Ribbon. But
gain respect from everybody else.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad that they walked this back. It goes on to say the tweets in question were written in poor judgment by one of our associates. In no way does the content of these tweets reflect the values of Pabst and our associates. We're handling the matter internally. Maybe they're still keeping the joke going now that I think about it, and have removed the tweets from all of our social platforms. So, but I thought that was pretty amazing.
Wouldn't that be funny if, like, everybody's expecting, like, a spike in COVID, outbreaks, and it just happened to be pink eye? Everybody.
Pink eye. Yeah, the dangers of rim play. Now, here's a sad story. Very, very sad. A New Orleans-based... Oh, this is the one I'm getting off Gizmodo. Sorry, I have no idea where I stole that last story. But this one, I'm going to read the whole story. It's short and somewhat tragic. A New Orleans-based arcade is picking up the wreckage after a man brandishing various weapons repeatedly rampaged the business for 24 straight hours. Over 24 straight hours. Oh,
my God.
Yeah, some
like
of this was
like an
captured on
arcade with,
camera.
like, video games?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Picture your favorite arcade, your favorite barcade. Classic games, real classic games, pinball. Now, on their GoFundMe page, which is doing quite well because the story has really blown up, that's the only good news. But speaking to NOLA.com, the owners of Sea Cave Arcade said that it started around 7:30 on Sunday night when a repeat customer who called himself Wolf, well, he did try to warn you, started slapping stickers on an arcade cabinet, classic arcade cabinet with a supermarket price gun. When this is the kind of bullshit. Now, I never had, of course, this exact scenario at Radar Station, but occasionally you would just get people that come in there and they think that they can just do whatever they want. They can fuck with your shit. And as a tired, broke, exhausted, pissed off in general business owner, I can't tell you how hard it was for me to not murder certain individuals. I can only imagine. It says, when co-owner Judah Lee asked him to leave, Lee said the man threatened to kill him and several others with his AK and held up a butterfly knife, which, somebody means business if they pull out the butterfly knife.
Whoa.
Unless they don't know how to flip it. If they know how to flip it, then I'm standing back. If they do the thing where they slowly, fold it open and then, I'm just punching the bitch. But Wolf left and returned 20 minutes later, locking everyone inside with a bike lock and smashing the windows with a watch. Sea Cave was not immediately available, blah, 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 blah. The police arrived after Wolf fled, but he allegedly came back around 2:30 and smashed all the windows, then went on throughout the entire night with cops arriving and leaving between visits from Wolf. He kept disappearing. They'd show up. He wasn't there. They'd leave. But he eventually smashed through the front windows and destroyed every single monitor in the entire arcade. Now, these are classic machines, most of them, with an axe. Pulled out as now, I don't care how unwieldy you are with an axe. I'm stepping aside for that motherfucker. But again, they were closed at this point. And that wasn't enough. After all that, Wolf came back again Monday night to terrorize regulars that were helping with the cleanup. One regular,
God.
Matt
Wow.
Ray, told NOLA.com that he ran up behind me with the handgun and started yelling, "Tell them to shut down. I'm cartel," before fleeing again. New Orleans Police
I
Department.
think this guy's been.
Yeah, let me skip through. Go
I
ahead.
think this guy's been playing a little too much Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah,
Boy,
clearly not
yeah, he's
operating
living
with
that
a
kind of
full
life
deck.
out. Yeah, go shoot some hookers while you're at it, I guess, to finish your night off there. The person has been charged. Let me see. Let me back up here. They did not confirm the particulars of the attack, but told Gizmodo that they identified and arrested. Okay, so they do have him. I thought that was true. Suspected of vandalizing property. He's been charged with aggravated assault, so he's going to do prison time at least. Simple criminal damage to property and criminal mischief and false imprisonment. So he's going down, but that left this poor arcade just fucking... You know, there's the cleanup, there's the financial thing, but there's also just the devastation of losing your original fucking Donkey Kong machine, bruh. Those things
Yeah.
don't come cheap when they work in good order, you know. You really, a lot of people don't realize that. If you're walking into an arcade and they got the actual original or even, you know, latter day classic era machines, those are spendy fucking machines.
I remember actually this story circulated amongst my group because
I imagine so.
we're all, and I remember the first thing we all did was like, was there any pins? Because while yes, it sucks if he was clanking up arcade caps, but like a Miss Pac-Man or something like that, or Galaga, like $1,200 to buy one of those.
Mm-hmm.
But to buy a pinball machine, $4,000 minimum, 4 to 12.
Oh yeah, well yeah, certainly if it's one that is no longer being built.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And a lot of them are no longer being built. So yeah. Anywho, the GoFundMe is on fire. So
Wow.
yeah, pour one out for the homies. But
No doubt.
I've got one more story. But before, I did make a little note here. Have you guys seen the trailer or the previews for this Foo Fighters movie?
Yeah, it looks fun.
It
Watch
does. It totally looks fun, and it looks like it's only going to be released in theaters at first. But when it comes out, I don't see us being able to get together and watch it in the theater. But when it comes out, we should definitely make that one of our live stream movie nights if we can figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
Because it looks silly. You know, for those of you who haven't seen the trailer, look up the trailer for Studio 666. It's sort of like a Scooby-Doo meets, Scooby-Foo. Scooby-Foo. It's like they're looking for a place to record their new album. They're at their 10th album. They want it to be special. And I'd play the trailer, but it's like 4 minutes long. But there are some funny little bits. And they go into this house and like at first they're like, nah, this just doesn't feel right. And then Dave Grohl's like, he claps and he's like, all right, let's head out. And then when he claps, it goes, he's like, did you hear that? It's like the acoustics. The sound of this house is the sound of our 10th album. And so they decide to stay, but it turns out there's some evil doings there. So it's like a horror comedy. And I got some genuine out loud laughs at some of the bits in the trailer.
Yeah.
And one of them was like, Dave Grohl's like, dude, I just discovered a brand new chord. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, it's an L. Like this looks so stupid and fun, but it's like an actual movie. It's not a joke. Like it looks like they produced an actual fucking movie. Anyway, my final story though, this happened a couple months ago, but new to me. A night near the Hollywood Walk of Fame would change a woman's life forever as she was getting into her car and a homeless man sprinted across Hollywood Boulevard toward her. Heidi Van Tassel was parked in Hollywood after having a pleasant evening out with friends at an authentic Thai restaurant. Suddenly, a man randomly pulled her out of the car, dragged her out to the middle of the street, and dumped a bucket of diarrhea onto her head. Oh my
God! What?
She goes on to say it was diarrhea, hot liquid. It was fresh.
Oh.
I was so sorry. Yeah. You still fucking in the kitchen or?
Yeah.
She says hot liquid. I was soaked and it was coming off my eyelashes and into my eyes, Van Tassel said. She said paramedics who came to treat me said there was so much of it on me that it looked like the man was saving it up for a month.
No. I mean, or he had Taco Bell. Jesus.
Or one bout of Taco Bell. It's like he's got to pour it on somebody. I mean, to be fair.
Happened to have Arby's the night before. He just had to save it up for a month.
Van Tassel was then rushed to Hollywood Presbyterian Hospital after the grotesque attack, where she was tested for infectious diseases caused by contact with feces, and she will need to be retested, just like if you had poked yourself with a rusty needle laying on the fucking sidewalk. She's going to need to be retested every 3 months for like 2 years.
Good God.
Because of the cycle of some of these pathogenic, these blood-borne illnesses. And so it's a fucking nightmare. And she says, it was all inside my car because it was so much. He just kept pouring it, and it was splattering all over me. She's now seeing several therapists and like truly trying to work through the fucking trauma of this attack.
Yeah.
But the footnote of the story I found most alarming, which was this was like one of many attacks that have been happening around certain metropolitan areas.
Like the wet poop bandits? What's happening here?
Yes. Well, there's a lot of piss throwing going on. You know, a lot of mental illness involved, a lot of homeless people involved, but also just dudes shitting in a bucket and throwing it on women. Almost like you know, I don't know if I'd call it like a sexual attack, but it's fucking troubling, and it's something I hadn't even really thought about. But what a horrible, like I have thought about someone throwing acid on my face, oddly enough, and you know, disfiguring me because my face is all I have. I mean, let's be honest, boys, it's all I've got. But shit would maybe be worse. Like, give me the disfiguring. I'll just get fat and hang out in my house. But poop, whew, oh boy, and like stored up. You know, we've talked ad nauseum, and I think nauseum is the perfect word here about you know, attacks that were made on us, specifically my brother back in the day by a, how does one say, an estranged ex gal pal that was
eggs, right, or whatever. Ugh.
And she had we called them ostrich eggs. They weren't ostrich. I think they were goose.
Huge.
But they were huge eggs, and she clearly just left them out in a bucket in the sun, and then shot out my brother's window of his truck one weekend. I think both of this happened while we were at the movies, and Lyle was there with us. It was like, for both treats. Weren't you, Lyle? Weren't you there when we?
Yeah.
It was like Hot Shots Part 2.
Dude, we were walking. We walked out the front doors of the building. We were parked six parking lanes.
We were parked closer to Grant Road than the theater.
Yeah, and we came walking out. We smelt it. We're like, what the fuck is that?
Like, let's get in the truck and drive away from that stage.
Man, so, dude, it smells like rotten eggs. Fucking, the closer we get to the car, the worse it goes. Until we realized where it was coming from.
Yeah,
it was from Johnny's car.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
They were green. It was just green goo all over.
Did he just burn the car? Like, what did happen?
He sold it. He managed to find someone to buy it. There was no hiding it. You know, I think at one point, you know, the window was shot out, and it was a Bronco too. So yeah, the back window, not the back seat window, but the window behind the back seat was like one of those elongated windows. So that's the one that was shot out, and that's the one that a week later she threw it into. So there was plenty of airing out happening like every night for weeks, for months, and it wouldn't go away. 20 magic free. I remember like there's a photo somewhere of like 20 magic trees. Like it was like fucking Silence of the Lambs.
Like 7. When they find
Or
that
7,
fucking
yeah,
guy.
it's 7. It's just 1,000 magic trees. It wouldn't even put a dent in it. So he had to tell the guy he sold it to. He was like, look, this is what happened. Good luck. Yeah, I'll take $28. I don't know how much he sold it for. I should ask him. But the reason I got going down that path was like anything that has been sitting around for a while obviously is only going to get more putrid, more rancid. And, since it was hot, I guess he probably maybe added to it, topped it off before topping her off. Whew, what a fucking nightmare. This is a dangerous world.
Hell hath no fury.
I probably shouldn't have even brought that story, but there it is, folks. I just feel like a good warning every now and again to just be super vigilant, because a car could come careening into you at any time, and a rock could fall onto your head, and a dog could come attacking you out of nowhere, and a bucket of shit could come raining upon you at any given time. Just be vigilant. Don't get too into your phone. Don't get too into your earbuds. To be aware of your surroundings. This poor woman sounded like she was just minding her own biz in her car. That's the other thing.
God,
Lock
that's wild.
your fucking car. Not all cars auto lock. A lot of them do when you get inside. As soon as you start driving, they auto lock. Not all cars do. You need to lock your car because people will pull you the fuck out of that vehicle and do even worse things than dumping a bucket of shit upon you.
That's kind of true to say too, because like, a lot of us, if you exercise and stuff like that and you're outdoors, like we have like a loop trail that goes around from 2 bridges, like 18 miles. And it's, along the Columbia River. It's a fast, awesome place to get some exercise, whatnot. It's local. Everybody could use it. Like a couple of years ago, a lady, minding her own business. She was just jogging. Had her headphones in. Some homeless guy came out of the bushes and fucking stabbed her multiple times.
Jesus.
And the reasoning, when the police finally caught up with him, the reasoning why he did it, he said, "Well, I was hungry and I just needed a place to stay, so I figured I'd stab her to death."
Stab this bitch and see
To
if
go
that
back to
resolve my problems.
Yeah.
Jesus
That
Christ.
was his logic. I mean, that's what he told the police. So, I mean, there's crazy fuckers out there. You got to be vigilant and, kind of pay attention around your surroundings.
I know I told the story at one point on the show years ago, but there was someone locally in one of the trails up in the hills here, a friend of mine, who was out hiking with his earbuds crammed in, cranking probably techno. It was more of his shit. And he said he just got this weird feeling. And
do you know the way to Bell Canyon?
give us a little of that, Lyle. You got that handy?
Can I? I think I can you? I don't know. What yeah. You know what's the way to Bell Canyon?
Yeah, it works every time.
Just it up.
Yeah, which one is creepier, the high or
Now
the
give
low?
us the Pitbull spinoff.
You got this fucking eerie feeling, that primordial. That's that good 6'6" Sputnik shit. He was just like, something's going on here, and he popped his earbuds out, and he just heard the tail end of a noise, and it was like, was something just screaming? And he was like, and he said for a split second, he just thought it was like a phantom of his hearing from cranking tunes. He almost put the earbud back in, but he left it out for just a second longer. Then he heard a full-on, no doubt about it, cougar scream. And then he looked up, and there was this fucking huge wildcat right up on the rocks, just looking down at him. He said it was, if it had jumped, it would have landed. I mean, like how did he describe it? I feel like it wasn't more than like 8 feet above him on a little cliff that was almost leaning over the trail. So the cougar could have jumped on him. So
Wow.
And so when he saw it, he backed up, and the cougar lunged at him, but he just like turned the fuck around and got out of dodge. He kept checking back, and he walked back down. He was up there quite a ways. Started walking back down, and he kept checking back, and the cat was following, and but not like chasing, just like, yeah, I'm gonna escort you out, and that's behavior that they often do when there's young. They got their cubs somewhere around, like they don't necessarily want to go chasing you or hunting you. It's not about that. They just want to make sure, yeah, that's right, bitch, get the fuck out of our shit. And I always wonder, like, what if he hadn't?
Yeah.
What if he hadn't listened to that inner voice, and what if that inner voice hadn't come at all, and he just hadn't popped out his earbuds? That fucking cougar might have jumped upon his face. It happens all the fucking time. It happens. Somebody around here. God, I don't think it. I don't think it was Wenatchee. No, it couldn't have been Wenatchee. It was someplace not too. I feel like
It's probably Leavenworth, man. Leavenworth's really a lot of cougars.
Oh,
up
there's
there.
well tons of cougar stuff, but this was a coyote. Somebody was on a loop trail. It wasn't Wenatchee, but it was something a lot like Wenatchee. Might have been Montana. It doesn't matter. Was on her bike, and she was just pedaling around the bike trail, and she was with a couple of friends, and they said that just out of the fucking blue, a coyote just lunged at her, pulled her off her bike, and just mauled her and fucking killed her right there
my
on the
God.
trail. And they all watched
Holy
it.
shit.
Yeah, I can't remember where that
That's
was,
fucking
but
crazy.
a coyote.
Wow.
I mean, it's a wild
brutal.
dog, and they're capable of anything. You know, they're they're very scattershot, but it's rare for a coyote to want to go anywhere near a person. I've had many interactions with the coyote. All they seem interested in is getting the fuck away from
Yeah.
you.
That's either very hungry or very threatened animal.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
or just batshit. Who knows? Could have had rabies. Could have had
Yeah.
some sort of
They're not
parasite.
that big. They're not like wolves. Wolves are fucking huge.
No, but they got jaws. They got very strong jaws.
Oh, yeah, well, I
and
mean,
they can take down
sure, but
you know,
like
big
they're not-
deer and yeah, coyotes are fucking terrifying, and deceptively so because of that. You know, a lot of people don't take them seriously because they are so small, and you know, they do travel in packs. That's the thing. Is like 30 Chihuahuas could probably kill you if they
Like,
all really worked together. So certainly 5 or 6 coyotes could do you in. But yeah, very, very rare and incredibly rare scenario that a coyote would attack you on a bike. But
oh my
it
god!
fucking
If there's any horror filmmakers listening to this podcast, that's something that needs to be done. Little Chihuahuas that fucking kill people in backs like
Night
little
of the
piranhas.
Chihuahua.
Oh my god, that would be fucking perfect for a movie, like a B movie.
Well, we made a B movie out in the orchard here called Night of the Were-Yote. And we got one of my brother's big coyote pelts. You know, they all shoot coyotes year round because you can. There's no hunting season for coyotes. They're considered a nuisance animal.
You don't need tags or anything. You just shoot them.
You just go fucking shoot them all you want, which is interesting. But I put one on like a cape and put it over my head, and I was like we did a first-person shot with the camera where I put part of the hide. This is really sick, actually. You put part of the face hide over the lens, so you were actually looking through the eyes of the coyote, but you could kind of see like an out-of-focus nose on the other side of the eyes as I was stalking my prey throughout the orchard and making sounds like. I gotta dig that out. That's somewhere on VHS. Night of the Were-Yote. Speaking of terrible movies, did I tell you that I'm one of the people I'm working with? She was in one of the Asylum's latest movies called Jungle.
Yeah, you were mentioning that. Yeah.
Not Jungle Cruise. It was cashing in on that. What is it? Jungle Run. Now, if you're not familiar with the Asylum, they are the infamous film group that brought us such classics as Sharknado and, you know, all those ridiculous movies that used to play on the Sci-Fi Channel. But I was just talking to her, and I was like, what? And then the guy that I'm working for showed me, like, her whole movie reel and a trailer for the movie. So I immediately went home and watched it, and I was going to interview her for the comment for this last issue, but I didn't get it together. But I thought instead it might be fun to actually have her on the show and just talk about her whole experience working with these people. How she lives up in Twisp, up by where Dan Burton no bacon. I was like, what is up with the Medhow Valley? Some kooky folks living up there that are, you know, I mean, this was a quote unquote Hollywood production. Super B movie and hilariously bad special effects, but that's what these movies are. You know, if you go on watching an asylum film and you say, "Well, that was stupid," then you were stupid for sitting down to watch an asylum movie and expecting anything else. But I would love to chat with her and about her other experiences in acting. She's had bit parts on some pretty big TV shows too, like Modern Family and I think Modern Family or maybe The Goldbergs, one of those. Anyway, so I think I might reach out to her and have her try to get her on the show possibly next week. Thought it'd be a fun mix. We haven't done an interview. We haven't had a guest for the bulk of the show, and then we'd have her sit in for a round of weird triv. Be fun to get some behind the scenes doings on being in an asylum picture. But yeah, they that their whole shtick is like, well, Sharknado was kind of its own thing, and that's what really got them on the map. But a lot of what these film companies do is what's called the mockbuster. Porn does the same thing, where it's like, oh, there's a new Jurassic Park. Well, it's time for Harasslick Pork, and but they're not quite so shticky, and really the movies usually have nothing to do with the movie that they're sort of cashing in on. But the golden age of this was back in the 90s. You remember that? Like the late 90s, you'd be walking into Blockbuster and you'd be like, well, they're all out of, I don't fucking take your pick. Well, Jurassic Park. Oh, but here's Dinosaur Island. Should we try that? And you take it home, and it's exactly what a movie called Dinosaur Island should be. So it's nothing new, but it's an interesting era for these video-on-demand things when there's no video stores. Just go straight to streaming. Anywho, it's fun. Good fun stuff. Jungle Run, if you guys want to watch that ahead of time before we have her on the show. And
yeah.
What's that? You cut out. No, I think we lost Chris.
I stopped by on my way home to say, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Hello? Oh, sorry. I stopped by to say goodnight. Okay. In and out.
Good night, Chris.
You saying good night to us or good night to Logan? I think that's what you're trying to say.
He's saying good night to Logan.
Yeah.
This did right. Okay.
We got to get Bat some better Wi-Fi over there.
No.
Anywho, well, that's your homework. Watch Jungle Run.
Jungle Run.
Last I saw it was available on Amazon Prime. So,
perfect.
But I'm sure it's not too hard to find. But what I really want to do is have a screening. People bug me all the fucking time, even going on our third year of having no radar station. People are still bugging me to do another radar station. I'm not going to, but I am. Every time I start planning this, the fucking COVID blows back up again. But I am planning on doing pop-up events, and one of the things I'm really excited to get going again are these movie nights. Somewhere where we can sit and have a cold one. I can host it, and we can just sit back and watch. Say it again, loud.
Now that you mentioned it, Twitch has a feature like that. And it actually is like specifically for Amazon Prime. Amazon owns them. So like if you open up your Twitch account and live stream it, we could have a powwow party, and everybody invited.
Like a watch party.
Could watch the movie at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And still have chat and everything. So I mean, we could actually do it.
I would love to. Well, I'm talking about doing it in real life, of course, but I would love to do that. I would love to do some stream from home parties. That way our listeners could participate. Obviously, people that are in Japan are not going to fly over and watch with us, but they could tune in at 3 a.m, whenever the fuck. Sorry, I'm choking on my cigar.
I think that'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm. But one of the things I would love to do is like have a screening here of Jungle Run and have Jamie, that's the actress, here host it and do that sort of thing, like we were doing at Radar.
The way I mentioned it was the fact that it's Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, you could stream it and not have any dealings with
legal issues
or red tape or anything like that. It's legal to do, and you can do it.
Sorry, I
Because
almost
it's
lit my crotch
Amazon
on
Prime.
fire. So how does it work though? Because we've talked about this before.
They own it. Twitch. It's they own it.
Okay.
Or we could.
So it's a
just
movie
have-
that we could actually stream.
Uh-huh.
Or we
If
could
it's on
just
Amazon
invite
Prime,
people
we can
to a
stream it.
private Discord channel and stream it there for only people that are invited, so that
I
nobody else
don't think
see
you
it.
can do that though, can you?
You can.
I
Yeah,
thought they
you
cut down
can.
on that.
No,
You can screen
Discord's
share
your own home.
and stream whatever.
Yeah, Discord's your own little home. You can do whatever you want in Discord. We've had
Because
talk-
it's a
What's a
private
movie that we
room.
should do this with?
Well, I mean, if you want to do that, we can do it Twitch, and then anybody could come, and then you could stream it legally because it's nothing. It's Amazon owned, so
If
it's
well,
Amazon.
you have to do it.
If you have
certain
Amazon
way.
Prime.
You have to do it a certain way. You have to do it Amazon Prime
Okay, so you're
Yeah,
limited.
it's
You're
share
limited to
room or
their.
whatever because
selection.
you can't just stream shit on Twitch even
No,
if
you're
it's
hosting.
Prime.
You're hosting
Right.
it with a share room, so basically,
Right, that way you can do it. for
hosting
sure.
it.
Yeah.
Everybody's watching it at the very, very same time,
Yeah,
and
it's
you have an open
yeah.
chat.
So how would it work with
that's-
Discord? I would like to do this, but I'd like to do it with any movie that we want, as opposed to a certain selection of movies that we'd have to
So
choose
with
from.
Discord, we can get anybody who's interested in joining us on Discord. They can reach out to us. We can figure out how to reach out to them.
Get into it.
And we can give them our server address, and they can just pop into our server, and somebody can just host it and stream their screen share basically, and it's you just see, it's like you're just streaming.
Yeah, and
But
because
only-
it's not like a wide open to the internet thing, we're probably not going to get busted for it. It's like
Right, it's a
26
private
people in a room watching this.
Exactly.
Okay, so would this just be we're all watching at the same time, or would we able to be?
Yep.
Would we be able to comment over it?
Yep.
Would
Yeah,
we be able
it's
to
exactly
comment on it?
Yep.
Why don't we set something up and have a test run?
This
Just do
out,
something
yes.
fun.
Yeah, let's do a test run whenever you guys want, maybe this weekend or whenever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd love to get that going. I don't think we're heading for another shutdown. I think that the government is not going to pay for another shutdown, and they're too worried about the economy.
I mean, I think the idea is you have access to the vaccine at this point.
Yeah, they're pushing the vaccine more
Unless
than
you have
closing
some medical unless you have some reason like mild where you can't get vaccinated, everyone takes death for the majority, right? Like Jesus Christ, I don't know. I'm so tired of
it's a pretty
COVID.
high.
I'm sure
I feel
every
like it's a
single
pretty
person.
high percentage of the global population that's vaccinated, but
Yeah,
I could be right. At least the
I do
first shot.
too.
Anyway, I mean, speaking on that, we just did our first live theater show on New Year's, and I was all sorts of wigged out by the idea of doing it because every fucking time we have tried the Radar Dames Burlesque Troupe, every time we've tried this, the COVID just starts blowing back up, and we had to cancel 5 shows.
Oh wow!
The first show was St. Patrick's Day at the very beginning. Now we didn't have to cancel
remember,
that when
yeah.
we canceled it, but it ended up being that we would have had to cancel it the day before. But I convinced everyone, and we all talked about it, and we was like, this is going in a bad direction. Let's cancel that fucking show. Then we're like, let's push it to a later date, and we'll do, ain't St. Patrick's Day was what we were going to do. 3 months later, when all this was behind us, and you know how that goes. But we had Halloween shows. We did 2 Halloween shows virtually. We did another St. Patrick's Day and a New Year's Eve show. All of those were supposed to be live shows. And we had some fun doing the virtual shows, but we were really excited to get back to we did a 1980s butt rock burlesque show. But I was fucking hesitant, and we were following every fucking COVID protocol to the T, and even above and beyond. We sold the room out, but we sold it out at 75%. What's that, Lau?
So that one would have been a good one, a fun one.
Oh my God, it was so much fun. So much good music, so many good fucking routines. Everything looked like our youth, all the girls had their hair done up, and Sarah and I did a cover of Saigon Kick's Love Is On The Way, and Christina Honeybee did a dance to it. We also did a cover of Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone, Cinderella. Nice. Everyone got their lighters out, which I had to say was a violation of the fire code. But it was an amazing night, and now that we're where are we at? Yeah, we're pretty much out of the COVID window of me catching it from anyone or anyone getting it.
Sure.
And I made a joke. I was like, keep your masks on through the whole show if you would. The only super spreading we want happening here tonight will be done on the stage. It got some laughs, and a lot of people listened to me. Some people didn't. What are you going to do? But we checked the IDs. We did all the vax IDs. We checked for positive tests. Most people showed up vaccinated. We only had a few people showing up with test results. So we did everything we could, but it was still just fucking weird, man. I just, with it blowing the fuck up. But here we are, and everyone seems to have made it through, and holy shit, we each individually made more money on this show than we collectively made on all of the virtual shows.
Do you guys just split it? Is that? I mean, I'm asking business questions.
Yeah.
I apologize,
Yeah.
but is that how? Okay,
All the
cool.
performers split it, and the performers keep their own tips. They get rounded. I think they all divvy them up. I don't take any of the tips, but this time I was actually on stage for the whole show. I had a little makeshift radio station, and I got to do my narration and stupid jokes in between, my little facts, talking about the satanic panic of the 80s. It was fun.
I like that setup. I think you did that setup before on it was a play kind of thing going on.
Yeah, we did, and it was in that exact theater.
I like that.
Oh, it was.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Was it a burlesque show?
No, it was a variety show. It was a fundraiser. That was before the Radar Dames was even a thing, or they would have absolutely been a part of it. That was something the theater put on, and they invited me to be the host. And they had me set up in a little underground bunker. It was a podcast based, like I was basically.
It was a sweet little setup that he had just right off the stage, but when the lights came on, they could light it, and you could still see as he's in like a studio, doing the radio, talk and everything else. And then it would dim out, and then the lights would change to the main stage. It was a really cool setup.
Yeah, it was basically the same thing that we did this time around. It was fun. But that's the theater that I really want to get a big movie club going, where I think we could do it once a month. I think we could. It's almost I think it's over 200 seats when it's packed. We don't need to sell it out. Even half full would be amazing, but a third full would be enough to have a fun movie night. Stuff that I'm looking forward to.
I never even knew that place existed until like you guys were doing that show.
Yeah.
And I was like, crap, this is actually here because it's off the beaten path.
It's a rad little theater. Yeah. They just got upgraded. Whole new.
Is it the
seats.
same? It's not the same place I saw like Trish perform at and stuff, right? The Playhouse.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Riverside Playhouse. Was that 12 Angry Men that you saw Trish performing?
No, it was the one about Jackie Onassis.
Oh God, that dude that played, was it her husband or her dad?
I
don't know. I can't remember. With the shorts hiked up way up high. Oh my God, that was fucking hilarious. Wow, that seems like forever ago.
Yeah, it does, huh?
Yeah, that was before anybody knew who I was, and before I knew all those people. It's so funny. It's like I know everybody.
When you were
now.
fucking nobody.
I wasn't
you were
nobody,
Ron.
I was completely a nobody. Anonymity. Just walked into a place and walked out. What was funny about this show was because I know all these. I mean, it's a Radar Dames show. Of course, I know a lot of the people, most of the people, and I know all the people in the local theater now. But I was wearing a wig. Like a butt rock wig, and I had aviator, orange-colored aviators on, and my mask, of course, as I was walking around, and jeans and a vest. No one had a fucking clue who I was until I started talking. It was really interesting to be anonymous for the first time and surrounded by people that you know. It was like I was right next to people, and they were having conversations about me a couple times. And like, they have no fucking clue that I'm standing right here.
You're pretty outgoing of what you wear, as your choice of carb.
It's basically a costume, yeah.
Dude, I can't even remember the last time I've actually seen you in fucking like blue jeans and a t-shirt.
Blue jeans I wear, but usually, with like a sweater and a tie.
It's been a while.
The blue jeans and a t-shirt, only if I'm working, and even then, I'm usually still wearing a tie. I mean, like working, like with a power drill or something.
No, I was going to say the last time I think might have been when we built the stage
Built
for
the stage, yeah. That's right.
famous radar station.
That's right. Lyle helped me build world famous ray gun stage. Famous people have like it's literally world famous now because of the people that have performed on that fucking stage. It's kind of sad that it's all gone, but you know, I kept the sign, the ray gun sign. It's above my record collection in my hall. So I have quite a
That's
few
great.
elements of radar station still around my house, but. Well, should we get on out of here? It ended up being, I think, kind of a normal episode, actually.
Surprisingly, huh?
Some regards. Christopher, keep us posted.
Well,
You've been in
thanks
all
for,
of our thoughts, and
yeah.
I'm proud of you for diving head first, falling head first, face first into it.
Quite literally.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta be able to laugh.
I did too.
It is the classic, like, ancient definition of comedy. You can't have the laughter without the tragedy and the sorrow, and it's true comedy that you fell into your dad's RV and landed in the exact death location, and that's a lot to process, and you've gone through a lot, my friend. And we're all proud of you, and we all you've been on our minds going through this, and I'm happy that you've shared it. You've been very candid and very very open, and I'm sure there's some therapeutic aspects for you, but I know that it's really interesting and helpful for other people to hear because it's things that people have either gone through or will go through some sort of kooky scenario like this. Maybe not as kooky.
I hope not. But just having you guys listen has been great, honestly. Even today, like I said, just being able to chat with you guys while I was shoving shit in bags made that go so much quicker.
Yeah, for sure.
So thank you. Yeah.
All
right, guys.
Well, keep checking those DVDs. You never know.
You
still
never
don't
know,
trust
right?
that little house on her prairie. You know?
Oh my! I'll send it over to Lyle too. But like, it's for my pop, Lyle. It's for you.
All right.
It's your inheritance.
That's damn right.
All right.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Tune in next week, 9/11, and maybe I'll try to get on a special guest. We'll see what happens. Night, y'all.
Bye.
Good night.
Rawr, 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 rawr.